So I think what economic instruments and how they're going to be used are the other areas of divergence. But there is some of these priorities, and these are the government priorities at the moment: the mandatory standards for energy efficiency, the rollout of solar water heaters to the domestic and for industry, feed-in tariffs for renewables to encourage renewable energy, real renewable energy, and work in energy and green jobs. So these are the key areas that we need to start looking at around this, because if we don't, and the process has got to be a participatory process. And these were things civil society has been involved. They protested, they toyed against certain parts of it while the summits were going on in South Africa. And the government has identified the key stakeholder groups to work with. And there's a process going on, and they're going to be gazetting different documents. So if people want to start tracking this, there's a climate change working group that the Water Caucus has got, and Tabam will probably take you through that a little bit later, so I'm not going to go into that. But what are the other impacts that we're going to see that are going to impact us? We heard talks about food security from Mama Chapeka today, and I think the big thing is climate change is going to have a major impact on food production, particularly maize. Just in the coastal areas alone, where in the Tegwini or Durban, there's huge subsistence, people rely on maize and agriculture. The orange bit shows you on the left-hand side there is the large sections of orange is the current situation. The other side is with a global temperature raising, the whole maize production goes, and the green bits are the real productive areas. They've gone, and they're right out of the picture. So immediately food security within the Tegwini region has gone out the window. What is going to be replaced by, it's going to change from subtropical to almost tropical. The kind of crops that you get normally associated in Mozambique and areas of Mozambique, sorghum, cassava, modumbis, which do grow in KZN and platinum, these are not traditional crops that are consumed in South Africa or in KZN, are being tested to see if they can be used and become socially acceptable to use that food and preferences and that. So there's a process going on, planning ahead for this. The other aspect that we've started to see is coastal damage. And this is Belita Bay a couple of years ago, storm damage, but you don't even have to go up there to see it. You can go down to a couple of months ago to Shaka Marine World, which is right on the beachfront, and you would have seen it having been washed away there. Down the south coast, bits and patches, and it's normally wherever the natural vegetation has been interfered with structures such as these or walkways right on the beach. There's no natural vegetation to withstand the high seas when it comes in with storms and the raising and sea level. And the science is not predicting, it's actually measuring and predicting where it's going to happen. This slide is the bluff in Durban, and this is where they predict where it's the different levels. They're looking at this, and while the red is the final layer, the bluff will start subsiding in that orange bit, and at the point there's a military complex that we don't know where it's there, but it will disappear. Or part of it will disappear in the process. The sewage works, there's a huge sewage works there, will have to be relocated at great cost, which is for the whole of central Durban, with the marine outfall pipeline, will have to be relocated somewhere else. Another area, biodiversity, one of the last remaining mangrove swamps in the Durban area, again with sea level rise, it will go right back into that green area, because the frontal dune will disappear, and the little wetland at the back where the mangroves will also be impacted on the beach, will probably be expanding into that area. So your impact line is actually much greater than just those few stripes on the sand dunes there. So these are the challenges that we see happening, and you can see this is evident even going down on the Eastern Cape Ponderland coast. I was there in July. you can see the high water mark is shifting. In spring tides and storm conditions, you're now seeing logs in the high water mark right up in the grass. And I was there, and I've been going there for the last 10, 15 years, and I've never seen that before. So I'm seeing changes in my lifetime. And I don't know about my little son, what he's going to see when he grows up, what we're going to leave him if we carry on consuming and not making the necessary changes and acknowledging climate change in a big way. There are changes at a community level, and one of the things is rural development is to start thinking about how we dispose of our waste. And at the moment, we all want waterborne sewage. We don't want VRPs. VRPs are giving problems. They're filling up. One of the solutions is to go into biogas and linking the communities up. And if you link enough communities up, you can set up a whole number of these small ones. This one supplies a whole household. It belongs to a chief in Nkosi in the Nanda area. And his son was visionary enough 12 years ago to put this to speak to his father and persuade his father to change. And they've got this, and it still works 12 years later. It still produces gas. The family cook on it. And it has a cooking room. And the win-win solution of this is that the women now have more time to participate in agricultural processes instead of having to gather firewood as they would have traditionally done. So in that household, it's changed their lifestyle, that they've become more involved in the agricultural side and not having to worry about the firewood collection, which we saw quite evident in other households in the area. And then the last thing is, this was put together, most of these starts by an engineer. So I've left this in because this is what an engineer is, how they think about getting out of the problem in the future. Tomorrow is mega city, so if you want to go to Joburg or Durban, and this is what you may see, or New York or one of these places, podcasts, electric city, great stuff. If you're an engineer and you like this, or being able to have your autonomous bus powered by biodiesel electric mix, your underground water robots, power sidewalks, so you don't have to walk. You create energy while you're walking. The mega sky train. All these things are being thought about now, and your whole thing about using the water and funnels and purification and pillows, all being thought about. Growing food. This is a farm for the city. Food security of a new kind. I don't know if I'd like to eat that food. And your whole process around your liquid hydrogen, etc., etc. The green towers, energy paint on organic solar cells for electricity, trapping sunlight. Generation of the sea, algae ponds, and using the sea for water, tidal turbines, and wave machines, and then some wind energy highways along the highways, and wind turbines, new kinds of wind turbines. Science fiction, well, some of it's being used, some of it will work, and some of it I like, but I don't know about the food gardens. It's being done, it's being in practice. And I think the big thing that we're starting to see, and it could also apply the same to Nelspruit and areas like this, why are we moving away from having cities and communities that are able to, that have the ability to generate their own electricity? Why don't we start looking at more decentralized systems using renewable energy? And that will take a lot of the problems that we see when the grids go down and bash out, that we have everybody has to cut their electricity use, because you will design your systems to use the amount of electricity and energy that you actually need. Thank you.